Okay, I'm going to be demonstrating for you Group three's Tibit pawn controller. Now, the technologies we've used for this project that I'm going to demonstrate for you will be a Vagrant running a Linux VirtualBox, Python, HTML, Angular JavaScript, Django REST framework, and Bootstrap templates. So now I'm going to go ahead and start our server. Server's running, so now I'm going to go ahead and go to our web page. Okay, so when our user first logs in, this is what they're going to see. I'll go ahead and log in to get started. Right now, we don't have the functionality to store usernames and passwords, so it just looks for a username and password that are matching. So I'll go ahead and leave that blank. Okay, so here on our home page, this is going to be the first thing that the user sees when they log in. They should be able to see their EPONs and GPONs that are on their network. Also the active OLTs, inactive OLTs, and if there are any alarms on the network itself. Now all these buttons over here are functional. We've created some pages for some of them. Over here on the networks page, the database calls can be made to render OLT objects in the networks tab, which is what you're seeing here. Also, these click downs, these drop downs here, this was something that was requested by our sponsor. Gives you some more information about the MAC address here. And as you can see, these are all functional. And here's the statistics page. The user will want to look at this when they want to see how their network's been running. Alerts page here. This is still, as you can see, in progress. This is just going to alert the user to any errors that they are having on their network, any sort of ONUs that are down, any of the pawns that aren't working. Configuration, that's still in the works, and so is logout. So that's just a brief overview of our controller. Controller right now is in its middle stages. It can currently discover the OLTs and the ONUs connected to the network switch. It can read all the configuration items from these devices and has the basic structure of posting this data to the database. Right now, some of the limitations we have are the current database has placeholder data in it. It's not actually pulling from the network as of yet. And as you saw earlier in our login screen, the user authentication just checks that the user and password entries match, even if they're blank. Okay, this is our code repository. As you can see, we are using GitHub to store our repository as of now. Our index page here, this is our page that the user first goes to when they log in. So I'll start here with the API. Manage, this helps us manage the different technologies. It's written in Python. As you can see, it's the Django initial setup and database configuration. Has all that data in there. API, here you can see Django initial setup and database configuration. Settings Python, the updated database connection strings to link Django to the remote database. And URLs, this is for our LT configurations and OLT MAC addresses. And this is just more of the Django initial setup and database configuration. So this is our Discover folder. This has the controller in there that helps us communicate with our UI to our controller itself. Library migrations, this is just sort of some boilerplate. Came with the Bootstrap. The Tappy 2, this is what was actually given to us by our sponsor. I want to actually go into this code because this is part of their part of Tibit's proprietary software, so I won't open that up for the video. And the rest of the stuff here, this is how our UI helps speak with our controller itself. Now here in our app folder, this is more of the UI side of things. This controller here, as you can see, I'll go ahead and open that up for you. Now this is the Tibit app controller. This is actually what is helping us get OLTs, toggle menu. So this is a really important file here. Directives and filters, this is kind of more boilerplate stuff. Images, this is just some of the visuals that you saw, part of the UI. This JavaScript folder here, this is what helped to create the statistics that you saw on the statistics page. And then the style sheet here, this was not done by us. This was part of the Bootstrap template. And views here, you can see has all of our HTML pages. And these were created by us. So pretty much everything in this repository was created by us, with the exception of the TAPI, which is the Tibit API, and the style sheet, and then, as you saw, some of the Bootstrap boilerplate templates. And these are all of our branches that we've pushed over the course of this semester. As you can see, everyone has committed, everyone has participated in actually helping with the development. And so right now, some of the engineering practices that we have used in this development phase is we have done both black and white box testing, as been done on all the finalized code so far. Version and source control has been really well managed. We've made sure that every branch that gets pushed has eyes on it. People are reviewing it. People are making sure that nothing malicious is being pushed. Branches are based on user stories and tasks, so we know what each branch does. Code reviews have also taken place to help each of the team members better understand each area of the project themselves. Right now, our project is on track so far. We have lots of work to do next semester if we are to complete the entire project. However, we spent a good amount of time this semester making sure that our development environment and the network environment are working, and that we have all the tools we need to start the development phase and really push hard this next semester to get more code in the repository and get more features on the controller. So that was our repository. I'll go ahead and show you our team drive now and give you a brief overview of that. We have this main folder here, which pretty much has everything in it that we needed for the class. Now for the project itself, we have everything divided into sprints. In sprint 1, we spent a lot of time with UML diagrams, UI design mockups, some prototyping. We have documentation of our hardware setup and our development environment setup. And this is just a lot of instructions on how to set up your development environment. And here, as you can see, the UML diagrams, everyone participated in creating those. This is to give us a better understanding of the project that we will be working on, and to really help guide us through this development process. Okay, in our sprint 2, we have a little bit less information here. We have most of our design already done. We do have some mock-ups here, just some rough sketches. More instructions on how we're setting up our environments to be developing. This is some little bit more important stuff here. We have design for the database itself. And in sprint 3, you can see here, we've pretty much finished up with all of our mock-ups, all the things that we were using to help us understand where we're going with the development, and sprint 3 was more of a development phase itself. All right, and this is where we actually are using our Scrum board. This is Taiga.io. We've had 3 sprints, many tasks for each sprint so far. Here in our Taiga wiki, you can actually see all of our planning, retrospective, stand-up meetings. This was sort of to clear up some of the clutter from the Google Drive, but also to keep everything in one place for the Scrum itself. So it was really good to have everything right here. And so now this shows you our Django REST framework. As you can see here, we're running it locally. This is helping us to get stuff from the network into our UI. And so that is our project so far. As you can see, we've made a lot of groundwork with setting up our environments and getting the basic understanding of the project and the technologies that we are going to be using for the remainder of the project. We are really looking forward to the next semester where we can get a lot more development done and make this controller hopefully a good, usable product for our sponsor. Thank you.